Good day, everyone.
I was born and raised in Detroit. Growing up there, I saw people like me running things.
This is a courtroom, not a circus, so we're gonna calm down.
I'm sorry.
What I found there was a passion that I didn't know existed.
This is the bottom line.
I'm excited to free fall into the limitless possibilities with we the people. So many are fearful of the law. They think it's something that works against them.
I think you need to begin to accept responsibility for your mistakes.
We are the people.
Renee Johnson claims her Aunt Renita slipped on ice and injured her hip when they attended the defendant's birthday party.
All rise.
Nicole Witherspoon says the invite said no plus ones, so Ms. Johnson's aunt should not have crashed the celebration.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello. Good day, everyone.
Good day, Your Honor.
This is the case of Johnson & Johnson versus Witherspoon. Ms. Johnson, you are here with Ms. Johnson. Is this your...
My aunt, Your Honor.
This is your aunt.
Correct.
You are co-plaintiff suing the defendant, Ms. Witherspoon, for negligence. Is that correct?
That is correct.
You say that unsafe conditions led to a slip and fall. And Ms. Witherspoon, you say that the guest list is where all of this went wrong. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'll start with you, Ms. Johnson. And Ms. Johnson, where were you? How did this happen?
Yeah, so Nicole invited us over to her birthday catered dinner party at her house and a movie night. You know, I haven't seen Nicole in a while, so me and
How are you friends? How do you know Nicole?
Since high school.
So you've known Ms. Witherspoon since high school?
Correct.
Okay.
And so, you know, grew up together and everything. We were friends, and haven't seen her in a while. She invited me over, so I made a day out of it, coming to White Plains. We're from DC. And so my aunt and I had dinner prior with some family and friends. So we dressed up, had a nice little family gathering. And then I was like, you know what? Let's stop by Nicole's birthday party. You know, Nicole knows my aunt. You know, they're really close as well, too.
But she wasn't invited.
So wait a minute, Ms. Witherspoon. So you just interjected that Ms. Johnson's aunt wasn't invited.
She was not.
All right. And so this was a party that had a guest list?
Yes, ma'am. Invitation only.
It was invitation
stated
only.
On the guest list, no plus one.
And so were you informed that she planned to bring her aunt?
No, ma'am, I was not. So I was surprised that she was even there.
So let me ask you this. How many people were at this gathering?
24 people.
Why did you decide to make it invite only?
Because
With no plus ones?
It was an intimate event. It was movie night. This is my birthday. I hardly see everyone because of, you know, our schedules, and it's the holiday time. So I thought, because I throw parties every year, that I would have something at my residence. Having someone in my residence, I'm very particular about who comes. I catered everything. I asked them in advance in terms of their dinner option. So it was very intimate. It was only my friends.
So you just wanted your girlfriends?
Yes.
And I get this. As you get older, and I'm dealing with this with my friends from college, as we're trying to schedule a weekend to spend together.
Right.
You don't realize when you have that it's almost like you're in a little bubble when you're in college with your friends, and you think it'll never end, and then you look up and you're 30 and 40 and 50-something years old, and you see how little you've seen one another. Right. So what I hear you saying to me was, this was a night that I really wanted to celebrate my birthday with friends.
With friends.
And I just wanted them to be there, and it's not because I dislike or anybody else. It's I was curating a night where we could connect.
Absolutely. My mother was not there. My aunts wasn't there either.
And so you wanted to have this night.
Yes.
And you also needed to let the caterer know how many people are we serving.
Absolutely, because
okay.
I have a budget.
So was it clear on your invitation?
Yes, it was.
And did you submit that invitation to the court in your package?
I did.
Okay, let me look at that. And so I have to ask you, Ms. Johnson, I know you read the invitation, or didn't you?
I did.
You did? Did you read that there were no plus ones?
I did. However, Your Honor, when she asked about dietary needs and restrictions, I did not respond. My plan was to stop by and say hello, drop off a gift. My aunt was with me. You know, this is already a 2-hour drive from DC. And so I was like, you know what? My aunt isn't a stranger.
But this is what Renee
I'm speaking.
does.
I'm speaking.
This is what you do.
Why are
Ladies, let's pipe down. I do want to understand.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, you know, my aunt wanted to say hello. She hasn't seen Nicole in so long either. So it's like she wanted to stop by and say hello as well. We weren't going to stay long. You know, we already had dinner. We just came from that. And so I don't understand.
Special note. The invitation is for invited guests only. No plus ones. Thank you for understanding and helping us keep the gathering intimate.
Clearly stated.
Coming up,
And I'm like, Jordan, please come help. He runs down. Jordan helps me take my aunt to the car. Nicole shows up aloof. What's going
my
on?
birthday. I
And
had a
I'm
couple
like,
cocktails.
Nicole, my aunt just fell.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Emmy-nominated We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. We're back with the case of Renee and Renita Johnson, who blame Nicole Witherspoon for an icy slip and fall.
So how do you justify, Miss Johnson, you know, bringing your aunt, who I know probably loves Miss Witherspoon, right? Let me be clear. This is not a thing where you ain't just stopping by the party to get a plate. Were you aware, Miss Johnson, that there were no plus ones when you were going? Or did your niece just say, hey, come on, ride with me?
Well, we had just finished having dinner, so we were stopping on the way by. We weren't going to stay because we had already had dinner. So to drop by, just say hi, drop off her birthday gift, you know, be polite, say hi to somebody, because I know all the friends.
Right.
They've been around forever, and I haven't seen a lot of them in years. So, yeah, I wanted to stop and say hi to them, but we had no intention on staying. We were leaving.
So when you decided to go by and you go in, tell the court what happened. You get to the party, you guys show up.
Well, Your Honor, we couldn't even make it to inside the party.
Sage.
Literally. And so when we got there, we're walking up the steps, and unfortunately, there's no railings. You know, some snow on the ground, 5 sets of steps. They're about 7-inch each. And as my aunt was getting on the top step, she slips and falls and starts screaming. I start screaming. I bang on the door,
Bang
run down.
on my door, and I have a
Correct.
doorbell.
I'm banging on. Who cares about
And
a
I have
doorbell?
a
No one got time for
doorbell.
no doorbell right now. We're banging on the door. I'm running down and checking her out. She's screaming. She's crying. She's in pain. Jordan opens the door, and I'm like, Jordan, please come help. He runs down. Jordan helps me take my aunt to the car. Nicole shows up aloof. What's going
my
on?
birthday. I
And
had a
I'm
couple
like,
cocktails.
Nicole, my aunt just fell. She's
It's
like,
my
oh my God,
birthday.
it's all right. I'm gonna take care of it. I said, you had some black ice. You didn't have no salt, nothing.
I said,
like, yo, can I
said,
speak? You
go
keep
and
interrupting
take
me.
care
Your
of
Honor,
her.
Your
I
Honor.
said, go and take care of her.
Listen.
She was so irate.
First of
she
all-
didn't hear me clearly.
Oh
I
my
said,
gosh,
go and take
yo.
care of her.
Okay,
First
thank
of
you.
all, I
Okay,
did not even
ladies.
realize.
Your Honor,
One at a time.
thank you, Your Honor.
I want to understand. Now, you just made an assertion. I want to give Miss Witherspoon a chance to respond to that.
Okay.
Now, you inside your party, you take me to the moment that you realized Miss Johnson had fallen.
I'm at the party, turning up, having a great time. It's my birthday. I'm seeing all my friends I haven't seen in years. I run out to see, like, what happened. Of course, I love Renita. That's my auntie, too. So I told
exactly.
Renee to just go and take care of her, meaning don't worry about coming in, don't worry about anything. If she's hurt, go and take care of her first. But I'm not stopping my arrangements for Auntie Renita that I didn't even know
So how
was going to
bad
be
was
there.
the fall, Miss Johnson? Can you tell the court when you fell, but you were trying to get up the stairs and your niece was helping you up?
I was coming up the stairs and I stepped on black and there was ice.
Yes.
I didn't see it. My foot slid out and I went off the side of the porch and then we were off the top.
Okay.
And I came down on my hip.
Okay.
And it hurt so bad, I really thought I broke my hip. And I could not get up.
So,
wasn't supposed to be there.
So let me ask you this: what time was it?
We got there like about
6:30?
6:45.
Late.
6:45.
Was it
The party
dark
started
or
at
was it
6.
light?
Dark. It was dark. We were like
Was
black
it
swings.
snowing or raining that night?
Earlier.
It wasn't snowing, but there's a little snow on the ground.
Did you
Snow
prep
really.
the walkway at all? Now, I'm from Detroit, so these are all questions that I know because this is what I have to live through. Did you prep your walkway in anticipation of your guests where you laid some salt down for them to get up?
I did not that night. It was probably 3 days prior to. However, it was a comfortable, casual evening to where I was not worried about the heels or like the slippery
But even without
shoes.
heels, if you live in an area where it is very cold and the
And it
temperatures
snows.
are chilly and there's moisture, it can create ice,
Absolutely.
which people can slip. So you usually, before you're having company, go out and salt down.
That's right.
So you
That's
didn't
true.
do that.
I did not.
Did you
that
have
night.
any other injuries that night?
No, ma'am, I did not.
All right, no other injuries.
No.
And when you were walking up the walkway, Miss Johnson, did you notice instantly that it was very slippery, or was it that type of black ice? Because I've actually had a car accident on black ice before. And my mother has slipped on black ice and she broke her ribs. She actually did in the parking lot coming out of the university where she was a professor. And it's very odd because it doesn't look like ice. It doesn't, you can't really see it.
Yep.
Did you notice anything at all, though, when you were coming up the stairs?
Nothing.
Were you holding your aunt by the arm?
No.
No, we wasn't holding her arm at
They
all.
was
You
coming
weren't
from
holding
We was
her
like
arm.
right next to each other. We just going up the steps.
You were
right
just
next-
walking up, but you
Correct.
weren't helping her up.
No, she was fine at first. Everything was fine. It wasn't until she fell. She fell at the top. It was no.
At the very top.
Exactly. So
All
we
right.
were good.
Okay. And so you fell, and then someone came to help you to the car.
Yep. Jordan walked us to the car.
And who's Jordan?
One of the guests
All right.
came, one of our friends.
So Jordan came, helped you to the car, and then what did you do?
We went to the emergency room. I had to take her straight there. But right before we left, Nicole came out, and I literally said to her, Nicole, you have no salt, and it's black ice all
did
over
not.
here.
She
and she
did
was
not.
like, my bad, Renee. I promise I'm gonna take care of it.
She did
I
not.
said, all right, I can't even
Indeed.
argue with
She
her.
did.
I'm going to go make sure my aunt's
did.
okay. She's
And how would you
crying.
know?
So we drove and we're speeding to the emergency room.
I was there.
And we go there.
Ladies, let's stay on task.
Coming up,
The bill is $3,100, and then on top of that, I had to take off of work. I had to make food for her. It was so many other things going on that I was taking on that I'm like, Nicole, you
Count
said
my
you was
pockets.
gonna take care of it. You
Counting
know,
my
you said you was gonna take care of it. You as a homeowner, you put no salt. This is a liability
Counting
for
my
any
pockets.
guest.
you're watching Emmy-nominated We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. We're back with the case of Renee and Renita Johnson, who blame Nicole Witherspoon for an icy slip and fall.
Y'all on Exhibit A, you'll see the bruise.
I do see the bruise.
Yep, right.
I see the bruise now.
And she's 73 years old. This ain't no 21-year-old.
And then you've decided to come to court because you say, actually, this $3,100 bill I shouldn't have to pay because it was your sidewalk that was slippery.
Yep.
Yes.
And so what is your response to that, Ms. Witherspoon?
I offered to pay something towards the medical bill, not
Chump
pay
change.
the bill. That's
So you did offer to pay something towards it.
I did.
You
Out
did.
of respect for Auntie. I love her. But I'm not paying the entire bill.
So what did you offer to pay?
$500
So you offered to pay $500 and say, listen, I'm so sorry this happened at my house.
out of kindness.
Out of just being kind.
Yes, ma'am.
And why didn't you accept the $500?
Your Honor, it's $500 with all due respect. The bill is $3,100, and then on top of that, I had to take off of work. I had to make food for her. It was so many other things going on that I was taking on that I'm like, Nicole, you
Count
said
my
you was
pockets.
gonna take care of it. You
Counting
know,
my
you said you was
pockets.
gonna take care of it. You as a homeowner, you put no salt. This is a liability
Counting
for
my
any
pockets.
guest. At that point,
So you just said a key word, a liability for any guest.
correct.
And unfortunately, while she loves your aunt and she loves you, Renita, she loves you, she has said that. In this situation, you weren't a guest. And this is where it gets a little tricky, right? You weren't technically an invited guest that night. And that then kind of lessens her liability because you owe a higher degree of care to people who you invite in your home as guests.
Coming up,
Did we hear the testimony about the stairs? Now it's like you walking up some steep stairs like you going to the giant slide or something.
you're watching Emmy-nominated We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. We're back with the case of Renee and Renita Johnson, who blame Nicole Witherspoon for an icy slip and fall.
Maybe a reasonable person, and I'm thinking, would then salt the walkway again. Okay. But then you're bringing an elderly person in the evening, in the dark, in an area with no stairs, and you're not helping her up at all. So now I don't know if she slipped on ice or just fell or stumbled or whatever. We don't know. We have no evidence. We have no pictures. We have no eyewitnesses. We have no affidavits. We have nothing.
She wasn't helping me up the stairs. I don't have a problem in walking or climbing stairs.
And I asked her, "Are you good, Auntie?" She said, "Yeah, I'm straight." I'm like, "All right."
Exactly. So then why come to court and testify? Now, these are 7 stairs, Your Honor.
This is
and these are 7. Did we hear the testimony about the stairs? Now it's like you walking up some steep stairs like you going to the giant slide or something.
Because it's personal.
Exactly. This has turned into something where I think you wanted her to feel responsible and pay for something, maybe because that would show she cared. It's a dynamic that this court doesn't have time to figure out between you friends. But what I can figure out is both of you had a part to play in this, so both of you should have a part to play in how it's resolved. The biggest thing in this case is that ultimately, Miss Johnson, your auntie, would not have been there unless you brought her. And you were not supposed to bring her. But you didn't read the invitation. You didn't read the small print. If you would even said, "Now I'm bringing my auntie," she might have just said to somebody, "Hey, y'all go upstairs and go outside. They late too. Go outside and make sure that those stairs are okay because Miss Johnson is older and I want to make sure the stairs are okay." You didn't give her a chance to prep it for anybody.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns. You're watching Emmy-nominated We the People with Judge Lauren Lake.
Ms. Witherspoon, you offered to pay $500 towards the cost of Ms. Johnson's injuries and her trip to the emergency room that night.
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Given the testimony that you've heard here, would you be willing, for the sake of the fact that this is a woman you love, it did happen at your home, even though the aunt wasn't invited, would you be willing to give $1,000 towards her injuries?
If she needed. Only if she needs it.
Needs it, Your Honor.
But you laughing.
The audacity.
No, you got the audacity.
No, but Your Honor, when your family comes over.
I'm done now. See, I was giving you a chance to meet her somewhere. At the end of the day, you brought somebody that never shouldn't even have been there.
That's what Renee
So, and I was waiting for you to say, "You know what? Thank you for coming up to that. We would really appreciate that." And meet her halfway.
That's
So
Renee.
now your response just led me to have you go ahead and pay that $3,100 on your own. Judgment for the defendant. Court is adjourned. You can be entitled. Entitled people got to pay. Okay?
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
Sage, it works because the negativity was never supposed to come into my home.
Watch who you call your friends. They ain't really ever family.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.